Every year, thousands of Africans risk everything to reach Europe. Some die in the Sahara Desert. Others disappear in Libya, and many never survive in the sea. But here is the question no one wants to ask. In a world where money and goods move freely across borders, why are human beings treated differently? This is the hidden reality behind the African migration to Europe.
We are not coming to Libya, we are crossing the gate. We know we can't stop from there. Imagine the way that it does.
Although African migration to Europe have existed for centuries, the numbers of Africans moving to Europe increased significantly from the 1960s onward. This rise became more notable after economic reform in the 1980s centuries and the potential instability that affected several African countries during the 1990s and 2000s. At the same time, many skilled African workers and professionals also moved to Europe to take advantage of unemployment opportunities in areas where there was a shortage of expertise. However, African migration to Europe is often viewed as a difficult journey, with many migrants using dangerous and irregular routes in search of safety or better opportunities. Those migrants include refugees, seekers, and both documented and undocumented individuals. In recent years, economic challenges in Europe have led to stronger political debates around migration. In some countries, concern about security, borders, and social pressure have contributed to stricter migration policies and growing anti-migration sentiment. As a result, migration has become a sensitive and highly issue across Europe.
If I not bath, I not feel sleep. If I not brush, I not feel sleep. You don't go Libya. Hey, Jimmy. You don't, let go. 4 days, 1 week, you not go brush. You not go bath. I remember one scenario where happened to me that time. For good 4 days.
Especially in countries that receive large number of migrants. After migration to Europe is smaller in numbers compared to migration from many other regions of the world, according to reports from the Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development, OECD. In recent years, global attention on refugee movement has also focused on a crisis outside Africa. However, African migrants are still a part of the large migration story, especially people coming from North Africa, the Sahel, and the Sub-Saharan Africa. Many discussions about African migration often overlook the long story. Many discussions about African migration often overlook the long history and diversity of those movements. African migrants move for many different reasons, including economic hardship, political instability, conflict, lack of opportunities, education, and the hope for a better future. There is a limited attention given to the positive contribution Africans make in Europe. Across different countries, African migrants have contributed to healthcare, education, support, business, entertainment, and economic life. At the same time, migration to Europe have become highly sensitive political issue. Some European countries has responded with stranger borders control the third migration policy. due to concern about security, economic pressure, and social change. This created more difficulties for migrants trying to enter Europe through irregular routes.
Libya. Look the way Libya be now. Libya is a mess. Why is Libya a mess? Libya is a mess because of all the mercenaries, all these extremists with weapons controlling the place. Right? Go Libya right now. Libya is a mess because there are men with guns, criminals with guns controlling Libya. Right? Who put those criminals there? Who gave them those guns? Who made those criminals? Who made them the powerful people of Libya? Who made those people for Libya the most powerful people in Libya? Who made them?
As border restriction increase, many migrants are forced to take longer than dangerous journey through the Sahara Desert, Libya, Morocco, and the Mediterranean Sea. This journey often expose migrants to human trafficking, violence, detection, and sometimes death. Despite the dangers, many Africans continue to migrate because they believe are better opportunities abroad. High employment, poverty, conflict, and limited economic opportunities in some African countries continue to push many younger people to seek new life elsewhere. Migration networks, social media, stories from successful migrants, and support from relatives abroad also encourage others to attempt the journey. For many migrants, Europe presents hope, success, and financial stability. However, experts argue that stronger borders policy alone cannot stop migration completely. Instead, many believe that long-term solutions require improving economic opportunities, reducing conflict, supporting education, creating legal migration pathways, and protecting human rights in both Africa and Europe.
زندر ها وين زندر جماعة زندر وين كله زندر ها كله زندر ها كله زندر
The issue of African migration to Europe remains complex, involving questions about women's survival, global inequality, border security, border demand, and the search for dignity and better living conditions. Many Africans continue to make difficult journey toward Europe, despite the growing barriers and restrictions placed around migration. While migration is often described as a crisis, the actual numbers of African migrants is smaller than some political narrative and public face suggestion. Even so, many migrants lost their dignity, safety, and some their lives during the journey. Unlike other refugee groups that receive widespread international attention. African migrants are often less visible in global discussions. Not all of them are fleeing war of direct political precision. Many are living because of poverty, unemployment, lack of opportunities, or the hope for a better future. There is this important question. Some people escaping extreme poverty also deserve protection and support. Decide which migrants are accepted and which are rejected, and what options remain for young people who feel trapped by difficult economic conditions at home. For many grants, the journey is not easy. It requires money, information, connection, and income. Studies suggest that migrants who successfully attempt the journey are often financially better off than those who remain behind, because migration itself can be very expensive. It is also important to remember that many African migration also happens within Africa, not toward Europe. At the same time, Europe often welcomes highly skilled Africans such as footballers, musicians, doctors, nurses, engineers, and technology experts. Those migrants are usually viewed different from those arriving through irregular routes. European governments continue to debate how to manage migration, especially regarding people feeling conflict and political instability. In response, new systems and agencies have been created to strengthen borders to control the process asylum seekers outside Europe. However, critics argue that some of this system makes it difficult for vulnerable migrants to receive fair treatment and protect under international review law.
Sabah gida sai birni amin
As migration policy becomes stranger, constrained after posing shared responsibilities and human dignity continue to grow. The debate over African migration to Europe is therefore not only about borders, it is also about inequity, opportunity, global responsibility, and the human search for safety, a better life. As conversation about migration continue around the world, many people are also asking an important question. Do Africa live better equally in global system? The movement of African migrants toward Europe has raised difficult debate about responsibility, human dignity, borders, and global inequality. In others' world, money, goods, and technology can move freely across borders. However, the movement of people remains for more restricted, especially for grants coming from poor regions. The situation has led many observers to question how the international system balance security, economic interest, and human compassion. At the same time, African governments are also being challenged to create better opportunities and safety living conditions for their citizens. Many experts believe that long-term solution requires stronger effect toward economic development, education, job creation, political instability, and regional cooperation. With the same improvement, many young Africans may continue to see migration as their best hope for a better future. In conclusion, for thousands of African, Europe is not just a destination, it is a symbol of hope. But between that hope and reality lies on the deadliest migration routes in the world. My name is Muhammad Abrashid.
Suminti kawai arziki fa arziki na dindindin kana da Allah kun gani ko suminti ne ka wallahi kun ga nan ma suminti ne mu je ku gani ko